subtleties of what you resist persists, continues to puzzle me. Specifically, I wonder, should the smoker surrender to the urge for the next cigarette? Should the sick person surrender to uncontrolled coughing? And should the tempted one surrender to the temptation? Or how can I better understand the subtleties of this unique grain of knowledge? Thank you.
You mean if you resist cigarette and the temptation to smoke it persists? Is that what you're saying? How to get over that? Yes. When you realize the joy of not smoking is so much more than the joy of smoking. Yeah, beyond smoking, when you find there is certain greater joy. See, what the mind does, it just wants to go where it gets some joy, some pleasure. And in such a pleasure, the mind is looking for where it is not there. So it gets addicted to certain habits. In these habits does not give you any pleasure, but it gives you only pain. Gives you only pain. So when the mind realizes this, it is very easy for it to get over any habits. So I say 3 things help you to get over habits. That your mind says, your intellect is saying these habits are no good for me. Correct? And there is the temptation wanting to have it. Now which should win? The intellect or your mind, the emotions? Correct? So when you get more love or joy, then what you get through the habit falls off. That's what happens when people do Sudarshan Kriya and they get so much more happiness. Automatically the urge to smoke just drops. Or any bad habit for that matter. Kriya, meditation, all this will help. So love or greed will help. If someone tells you, look, if you don't smoke for 3 months, you're going to win a lottery. Then the mind says, no, I'm not going to touch it. I don't want to lose the lottery. So greed. The third thing that would help you to overcome the instincts are fear. So if someone says, so look, if you go on drinking, you're going to have psoriasis, liver problem is going to come, you won't survive. That shakes a person. Right? And then the fear of getting some disease or getting into some trouble, then you get over the temptation of some pleasure, minor pleasure, many people who used to be very promiscuous stopped being promiscuous when they heard about the AIDS. The fear of AIDS have kept people more faithful to their spouse. So love, fear and greed are 3 things which would help you to resist those things which tempts you, brings some more temptation in you.
In Yoga Vashishta, Saraswati Ma takes Leela to different planes of existences and she shows Leela living different lives simultaneously. And in those lives, each Leela is not aware of the other Leela. I was just wondering, are we also living on various different levels of existences which we are unaware of? Something similar to that?
Yeah, definitely. There's so many layers of our consciousness. It's so amazing. See, there is a dream state, there is a different levels in the dream state, right? And there's different levels of reality, right here.
How would you explain?
So it's better you don't get introduced to all the levels unless and until your spirit becomes so strong. Very important. That's what people who are schizophrenics and mentally imbalanced people, what has happened? They get a taste of other dimension and this dimension. So they lose the interest in this dimension and feel that is more charming. There used to be a lady here, an elderly lady from Turkey, and she would suddenly see things, and she was on medication, where the psychiatrist had given her some medication. But she would refuse to take medication because the medication makes her feel very dull. Without medication, she would hallucinate. She would have all these ideas, that the truck is pulling her energy and she is so powerful in the world, she could do anything. All these sorts of, no doubt the consciousness deep inside you is powerful. It is very powerful. But that lose the touch with this reality. So, that lady would say, it's so dull, everything is so boring, that other world is so fantastic. But the other world, when she starts living in it, people in this plane have difficulty. Difficulty to deal with her. So, unless and until you are so centered, the mind gets established and becomes so centered, knowing other realms of reality is not safe. It's not warranted. That is why Saraswati, the goddess of knowledge, takes her by hand, means the wisdom was there. Saraswati is that wisdom consciousness, which doesn't lose touch with any levels of existence and keeps the demarcation very clear. People who are bipolar, they all have this trouble. They suddenly see somebody talking, they have some conversation happening. It's so real for them. They suddenly see someone right in front of them, they keep talking to them. And from your side, there is nobody. So, these are all different planes of existence. So, unless and until the consciousness really is well founded in wisdom, knows its what is what, can distinguish between one level of reality to another, this knowledge does not dawn at all.